I look fucking fabulous, so I'm perfectly fine.
You all just got a quick glimpse of me. I look like the kid out of like the little brother out of Christmas Story, just like 45 layers, can't bring his arms down.
Well, it looks like you're just like got back from like robbing someone's house in like Brooklyn.
I live down here in fucking Miami, so it's for some reason it's like 45 degrees outside, and I'm actually really happy because we don't get that type of weather down here anymore.
Oh, it's 45 degrees inside here at my house.
Oh, get the fuck out of here! We all need jackets and shit. Oh, I don't.
Right now it's like, oh my god, it's summertime. Oh, look at 45 degrees. That's not so bad. No,
well, where are you at right now?
I'm like right next to Yosemite, California. You know where that is?
Oh yeah, I know where
Good.
you are actually.
You know, the only reason I say I remember like when I was in the South for a bit in Tennessee, and whenever I try to explain to people, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right next to Yosemite. They look at me like, Yosemite?
Yosemite, what is all that?
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean you don't know what Yosemite? I mean, it's like the original national park. How do you not know? You don't have to be there. I mean, like, I know what Yellowstone is. I've never been there, but I know exactly what it is. I know what Jellystone is. I haven't been there either, but...
You just tell them the big fucked up rock in California. Oh! Okay.
Oh, that thing. The thing that exploded in that movie once. Yeah, that thing.
If they got that close to be like, yes, that you're good. Perfect.
yeah, just right next to the most. What was it? Is it right now the most active volcano?
No, there's not a volcano in. Well, there's one in Mammoth, but there's not really one in Yosemite. Right now, they just got all this snow and flooding and all kinds of crap like that going on.
Yeah, Yosemite has like Half Dome, which basically looks like someone just took like a mountain and cut the thing in half. Like, it's good enough.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
You know who you fucking look like? Shit, it was you. You look like a comedian that I fucking saw on Comedy Central once. I forgot what his fucking name was.
I usually don't dress like this. It's just really fucking cold right now, and my heater makes a lot of noise. So I'm just like bundled up like a Eskimo right here, or Inuit, whatever the.
That's one of the fucking things. Like I've had to cover up like a majority of my walls with towels, and I literally covered up here. You guys don't see it, but there's a little red thing.
I see something in the corner.
Yeah, the one right in the corner. And it's I took a small towel and I covered my air vent because like I care about my audio isolation. And
that's pretty good.
I want my room to fucking sound good. Well, I have my shades up right now because it's such a gloomy, beautiful day, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, I got a handful of like ways that I've set up different like audio recording booths. Like this is one of my favorite like ones is I have one of those pull-up dip bars. So what I did is I put my tripod in the center there and I hang towels over it and across, and it creates like an instant like audio booth.
Apparently that's something apparently a lot of people do. I got into voice acting maybe about 7 months ago. And I like right now I'm using my Sterling, this little baby, and I like using this when I have to talk on like Skype calls because I like holding something or something to fiddle with while I talk.
Yeah,
And
like that
yeah, well, usually I use this one, which is like I have an audio isolation shield. I covered up all my walls and shit, just treated the whole area. But right now this is just my desk.
Well, it's one of those ones for like a podcast. It's not nearly as necessary as like a voiceover.
Yeah,
because I use this microphone right here. I bought it originally. We bought it for podcasting, but then I ended up using it for movies. I ended up using it for voice acting. I use it for all kinds of stuff. And then I also got like a little portable sound booth that works really good if I don't want to leave my computer. So I got all kinds of little things that don't cost a whole lot, but they do make quite a bit of difference.
And I just got this
money on all the shit. I spent a lot of money. I spent almost $1,500 already.
Oh wow!
I just spent $70 on this like USB microphone. Looks like R2D2's dick. So.
Oh, let me see it. That looks cool. Oh, dude, look at that. Look at that fucking, like, that's like 60 shit right there.
Yeah,
Lord Almighty, I feel my temperature rising.
You get to get your fucking Elvis Presley mic out.
It does almost kind of like...
light shining higher. You just start, like, really going at it.
Good gracious, great balls of fire. I can't do a Huey. I can't do a
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee Lewis that well, yeah.
Yeah.
It was like Bruce Springsteen coming in for like a fucking
Jerry Lewis. I am wearing my...
Especially with the fucking hat.
So are we all drinking coffee today? Do you have your coffee?
I don't drink coffee. I actually have tea. I'm one of those people.
He's one of them.
You know what's weird? I actually work at Starbucks right now, which I appreciate. I appreciate Ryan's jump in over there. Fucking, I started working over at Starbucks. Previously I was working over at Tivana. I think I hate tea now. It's like a store that's owned. It's like a tea store that's owned by Starbucks and professes in tea, and it was inside of the same.
Okay, because I've heard of those ones, but I've never been to one.
It's kind of like if you could imagine a store that sells like spices and stuff like that. Basically, just that with tea.
Oh, okay, they have one of those, and there's a really cool place in San Francisco I used to go to that
Hmm.
it was a full-on Chinese tea bar, like
Yeah,
old school style.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's probably just like the chain version of that,
yeah.
There's a cool
without the cool Chinese guy that's in there trying to pick up on like the white women.
Yeah, and that is exactly that. Like, shit. I was in San Francisco last year. I actually went to this tea place exactly like Tivana, and I was like, this feels strangely familiar. And then they were like, yeah, we're not Tivana, but we copied all their marketing aspects. And I was like, oh, I see. Okay, I see.
There's a girl I worked
Yeah,
at There's a girl I dated for a little while that worked at Tivana, and she's like, I fucking hate this. I just fucking hate this so much. And just winning all the micromanaging thing they got to do, but they still come across as all kind of like we're earthy and we're natural, but corporate as fuck. She like
Yeah,
just
exactly. Well, like it is owned by corporate. Like it's weird enough. I worked for a lot of different places. I worked for Outback Steakhouse. I worked for J.C. Penney. I worked for Hot Topic for some time. Most of the time when I had to do something or I had some place I worked, most of it ended up becoming corporate. Ironically, the Starbucks Corporation isn't as corporate as I thought it was.
funny how that
So
works.
that one's the more laid back. Yeah.
What was that?
Question about Hot Topic, because Hot Topic's a thing that kind of comes up in conversation a lot.
Yeah.
It's literally a hot topic.
Hey, ha ha ha, snare drum. No, when you worked at Hot Topic, was it the point when it's just like you need like some nose piercings, you need a gauge, you need at least a couple tattoos to get in the door, or is it kind of like Hot Topic now? I see, or is it like
my
it's
my
a
Legend of
Triforce?
Zelda. Yeah,
That's really
yeah,
awesome,
badass.
dude.
it's fucking.
That's Majora and the Moon, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
that
it was
has
a
some
whole
real detail on it.
I love tattoos. I did it long time now. But working at Hot Topic, they never asked you to have any piercings or anything like that. But I do have my gauges.
Mm-hmm.
I have, everything. It was so unintentional that I had these things.
Mm-hmm.
But for people that like really know me, that have known me for a long time, I had this phase. I had the Blood on the Dance Floor, My Chemical Romance, all that fucking shit. I had that phase when I was around like 14, 15. And yeah, that was my life. And I was that kid. I was like, oh man, I want to work at Hot Topic. I want to be a fucking rock star. And then I found out whenever I tried to sing, I go, and I sound fucking tone deaf.
I tried to work at Hot Topic back in like
They
2007 or
never
something
hire
like
people.
that.
They never fucking hire people. I was the
What?
hiring manager. And they said that I have to be super picky. They told me you have to like look at them, make a good judge of character, and every person that came in there, guess what? I have a pretty good judge of character. I don't trust those people with my money.
Well, as well as ones like I went there and I remember like they would have hired me, but they wanted to hire me for like way off like a city over in San Francisco. I was like, nope, not doing that. That's too far. Not too far for Hot Topic. But at the same time, I was kind of going like, okay, at that time I had this bleach blonde hair. I looked like Bret Michaels and everything like that. But I just didn't feel like I had the Hot Topic look. So I don't know if I was like too conservative looking for them. Like, well, you got bleach blonde hair, but you don't have any tattoos. When do you think you'd start Motley Crueing this up a little bit more? A little bit less Bret Michaels, more Motley Crue.
When do you think you get that pentagram on your butthole?
Wait a second. When you get that, do I have to show that while I work? Yeah. See,
Let me
look
see
at Tom
it.
over there. He's just got
They
a
want,
cut.
they
right in
want
the
to
back
know
of his
how
face.
really
He's got the
hardcore you
scabs
are
on.
when Satan owns that ass.
My
But,
thing is just because at some point they just Hot Topic, they literally just said like, whenever we go into a Hot Topic now, first off, I'm confused. I don't know what anything fucking is anymore. The other thing is you see people like, welcome to Hot Topic, and there's no like black and red. It's just very like straight laced, almost kind of like as if like, like almost it looks kind of like not Abercrombie and Finch exactly, but like
but not that far off.
Yeah, like almost that kind of lighting, that kind of look. But only, here's the My Chemical Romance T-shirt and some Adventure Time plushies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I can see I work in the mall, so like it's weird. It's weird enough that like the most versatile job I've ever had was Starbucks and Outback Steakhouse, because wherever you go, you could find an Outback Steakhouse, or you could find a fucking Starbucks, or like I like having a day job that at the same time kind of takes care of me because they're doing my like health insurance and shit like that, which fucking rocks because I didn't have that before.
Trump's trying to take Obamacare like the rest of us.
You know what's weird? It's like I've had a lot of jobs, and I'm 20 right now, so it's been a nice. I've worked for about like 6 years. Ever since I was 14, I had a job. Because fucking I don't like asking my parents for money.
Oh no, I had a job when I was 14. I was a gold pan instructor though when I was 14.
I thought you were about to say gold digger, and I was gonna be like,
well, it's similar. You literally do dig gold, but you have to do it on your own. God damn it!
Ah, goddamn. This like, okay. So have we started the podcast yet? Is this thing a thing?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Let's be official because everybody's gonna be. If anybody's listening to this, they'll be like, "What the fuck is going on? Why are you fucking noticing this?" We're like, we have no idea who's on the guest unless we read the thing.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet. All right.
So we'll start. Boom. Welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We got special guest today, voice actor
Austin Cook. Hello, everyone.
There we go. Boom. Yeah, me and Austin, we sort of, I guess, met. We were both like guest voices on this one guy's animation.
Yeah.
Assuming that's how it all came around. Yeah.
I believe that's what happened. What shit. Yeah, you're right. We were voice acting on one person's animation. I do a lot of voice acting on Newgrounds. Same thing as Spencer over here. Ryan, do you do voice acting on Newgrounds?
He does voice acting too.
Yeah, I'm not really so much of like a super passionate voice. I'll be honest. Ever since I've been making movies back in high school, probably since senior year and on, if I'm in a movie, it's because I know no one else would be there to do it. So it's kind of like, it's kind of voice acting sort of the same thing. So it's kind of like, you know what? I know that between Spencer and I, it's just going to be like, we're going to have trouble finding someone to do this. So yeah, I'll voice or I'll play the character. So I voiced Wallaby in our rabbit cartoon, Wallaby the Rabbit.
Oh, that's cool. I've done a lot of fucking voices for a lot of low budget cartoons. I haven't done anything crazy yet. I live in Miami, which as ironic as it may seem, is not the best place to try to get your foot into the door with voice acting.
Well, it's sort of like you really got to be almost in Los Angeles or some of those other areas where it's really at, because even up north in California, it's funny how far like everything is, where people are like, "Oh, you're not in Burbank? Oh, well, go fuck yourself in Yosemite." Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Like like I haven't gotten any real like moments like that, but on the perk side, we do have a lot of fucking conventions down here.
That's cool.
As I said prior, I actually started voice acting about like 7 months ago. I was doing like voices and having fun and talking to people, but I never got legitimately serious about it until about 7 months ago. And 3 months into it, I went to a convention down here in Florida, which was over in Fort Lauderdale, and it was Animate Miami or Animate Florida.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was Animate Florida. And the first day I went, it was a fucking Friday, and it was beautiful because nobody was there. Everybody was setting up. It was the middle of the morning. Everybody was just getting there. And I walked over to like the voice acting area where like there's a bunch of people that are up there. Like David Sobolov, who did Gorilla Grog in the fucking Flash CW series.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that guy, the fucking voice actor that did like General Grievous was there as well. Same thing with the guy who did Zordon as well from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, and I went over to David Sobolov's booth, and I was like talking to him and stuff like that. And he has this real deep, like real gritty voice. And me and him were like talking, and because there was nobody there. Nobody was there in the middle of the morning because all the kids were at school and it was like 10 o'clock. So I brought some coffee over to his booth. I started talking to him, and I was like, let's talk." And he was like, "Sure. So what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting into voice acting." And he was like, "Is that so?" And I was like,
he's like,
"Yeah,
like a challenge,
yeah,
like, is that right? Stomping on my ground, huh?
Leads you around the corner and just starts stabbing you with a knife. Don't fucking come back here again. You get the fuck out of this job.
Don't you get back.
This is for me and me only.
You're
Damn
not
it.
gonna make it."
You just get roughed up by this
No,
guy.
but he was. It was ironic because he was like, out of all the voice actors that I was able to meet that day, he was one of the most supportive because I saw him the next day after we had like a pretty like riveting conversation. It was a lot of fun. We had some jokes here and there, and he complimented me at the end of that day. But the next day, I came back same time in the morning, and I walked by his booth. I didn't even go up to him. I just said, "Hey, David, good morning," and he was like, "Austin, come over here." And I was like, "Oh, okay then." And I walked over to him, and he's like, "Do you have your pamphlet, like the book with all the fucking times and shit?" And I said, "Yeah." And I gave it to him, and he was like, he just pulled out a Sharpie and started like coloring stuff in. And if you can imagine, he basically colored almost every single panel that was associated with voice acting, and he said, "Go to every one of these and tell them I sent you." And I was like, "Oh, cool." So I went to this one for like storyboarding and stuff like that. Another one about like the business of voice acting, which I haven't been necessarily hit by yet because I do my freelancing through like a website.
What website do you use to do yours out of curiosity?
I use Upwork.com.
Yeah, that's the one I use, and I used it ever since it was like Elance.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the good thing about it is that they take the taxes out immediately. So they already like they make you sign a W-9, and then throughout the course of your voice acting or whatever you're doing, whatever money you make, they take a portion of it from you, and that's basically your taxes to that job.
Yeah, I know, that's kind of cool. It's like eBay does the same thing too if you sell stuff on there. So then you don't have to go at the end of the year at tax time. You're like, yeah, I didn't make any money off eBay this year. Just letting you know. Like,
yeah, it's like I spent all that money. I'm sorry. I have an addiction to buying expensive audio equipment. So thank God they take that away for me, and it's kind of nice. But yeah, since within the 7 months that I've gotten into it, there have been a lot of people that I've met and a lot of different communities that I'm falling into that are like everybody's really respectful and cool. Um, but overall, I think if I keep following this same algorithm that I'm playing with, which is just work with a lot of people on a lot of projects and just enjoy yourself. Mm-hmm. I have faith that things will turn out for the better.
Oh, yeah. No, that's kind of how you go. I mean, yeah, you just kind of continuously keep trucking forward. I always use the Aerosmith philosophy that it took Aerosmith like 8+ years to get somewhere, and then look how big Aerosmith is. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Every time someone plays like any of the songs that they had, like Sweet Emotion, I've heard almost like 15 times in one little continuous sitting I've had. And I'm pretty sure every time it plays that they make at least a
well, as well as once too. It's like Aerosmith was pretty much a '60s band that nobody fucking heard of until the '70s. So they just didn't really get anything out.
Same thing with the Chili Peppers, like because they came out in like in '83 or '84, and they didn't get noticed.
Yeah,
till like
at least Chili Peppers had like their albums and stuff kind of out. Where like it seemed like Aerosmith. I don't know if it was either under different names or whatnot, because that first album's not till '71, but in their book they're like, oh dude, we fucking started in like '63. You know, it's like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Like, it's weird enough that, like, a lot of the music that I started listening to, because I live with my grandparents. So when they would give me music, they'd give me music that they were listening to. So I was listening to, like, Elvis, and I was listening to Frank Sinatra, and they gave me all these different things. And, like, I was like, you guys don't listen to what my generation listens to. And my grandfather said, never mind, here's a cassette tape. And I have like a big box of fucking cassette tapes sitting inside of a warehouse somewhere along with my old video games. And it was just, it's really weird to see that, like, it really is around the people you grow up around or the environment you're raised around. Really depends on like who you meet and how you socialize with people, because like I could name countless people in my age group that does absolutely nothing like close to what
Oh
I
yeah,
do
I
at my
notice. We
age.
notice that ourselves all the time. It's just like you can kind of just take a gander around and go, "What the fuck you guys doing? Don't you think about the future? Damn it! What are you gonna do with yourself?"
What are
And
you
to
gonna
add to-
do with yourself when you're 45 and you don't have any fucking money? And you ain't got face in a community, punk. You're gonna be mincemeat.
It's totally.
Was that Michael McDowell right there?
It could be
Which one, for
That
me
was
or
very
for him?
McDowell. That was very McHugh.
like very. What you talk about? Like fucking like end of Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Never mind, I was thinking the book. It's weird. I picture that last chapter of the book. I think of it like it's in the movie. But I'm like, oh, that's not in the movie. But in my head, it is.
You know what was weird? Between Clockwork Orange and what other movie was it? Oh yeah, Pulp Fiction. Those two were kind of pushed down my throat for a small majority of my life, and I never saw them till like just about 2 years ago.
Just ignore that corner of the screen right there.
Yeah, Dunigan's just got his Pulp Fiction poster in the background.
No. Pulp Fiction was.
I'm joking. I'm
Pulp
joking with you. I'm
good
joking.
movie in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
I really dig the movie a lot. But when I saw it, I saw like an envision of my grandfather in one of the characters in the movie, which was I forgot what his name was. They called him the problem solver. You remember that guy?
Mr. Wolf.
The wolf.
Yeah, Mr. Wolf. And
RBK.
it was like it was so funny to see that like I'm not gonna make the reference because I don't want to say the N-word, but he was like, "Is this dead N-word storage?" And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be funny." And then they call him in, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna have you guys do this. I need you to go over here. You're gonna put some bleach in the seats, and you gotta cover it up with all these blankets." And he was like, "A thank you would suffice." And he was like, "What the fuck did you just say to me?"
So calmly though, so calmly.
Like, I heard him say it, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, they called a guy over that can literally fix you getting into fucking jail. And you ask for a thank you? Like, where do you get the fucking god to do that shit?
It's when you're John Travolta, you ask those kind of questions.
I did that once to somebody, and I got the fucking shit smacked out of me. My dad, I used to, I was a bad kid. I used to steal candy from like local Winn-Dixies and Publix, and one day I got caught. And what happened was I was like 5, wait, what was I? No, I was like 10 or 11 years old.
Just like, Jesus Christ, 5. 5's the time where you can get away from like, oh, he's just being cute.
But I was like 5 or 10. I was like 10 or 11. Jesus Christ, get your age together, Austin. And what happened was every day I would leave with a giant bag of candy on my hip, and I would say, "It's my sister's birthday." I don't know why the fuck that meant anything, because you're stealing still in front of everyone. So, when I would leave, one of the officers one day walked by me and said, "What are you doing with all that candy?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't know what to say, because all I knew what to say was, it's my sister's birthday. I'm getting her candy." He was like, "Did you pay for that?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I didn't." And he was just like, "Well, you can't do that." I was like, "What do we do now?"
It's almost like he didn't know what to do. It's like, oh fuck, what do I do now?
I like that. Like,
do I beat this child in front of everyone to make an example of him?
Yeah,
did you pay for that? Like, oh shit, my only weakness.
Yeah, exactly. Like my only weakness, the truth. And to scare me, he said, "All right, well, we got to take care of you, kid." And I was like, I'll go home. I'll never do it again. I swear to God." And he was just like, no. We can't play this game. And then he handcuffed me, and I had to sit over there, and I started fucking crying. I was like, "I want my grandma." And my grandmother showed up, and I don't think I've ever done that. And fuck, man, it was the most cocky thing I ever did as a kid. She picked me up, and I was like, "What do you say, Grandma?" And she smacked me in the side of the head, and she said, "Excuse me?" Like, what the fuck? Who do you think you are? You just stole from a store and got caught, and then you were crying for your grandma, boy. Come on.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna show up. Actually, I was gonna let you sit in jail for 3 days so you could get a lesson learned.
Yeah, right. And like it wasn't like a little bit of candy. It was like imagine piling candy into that big plastic bag and just running out the front door every damn day.
Oh yeah, that might.
It's like
And it was weird because I never finished it. I would always go over to the guard gate where the officer was. I said, my mom gave me this money and I don't like this candy. And I threw the giant bag in the trash.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Apparently, because I apparently didn't give a shit about anybody's feelings, because I ended up, and I apologized to that lady so many years later about it, but I blamed her. This poor black lady that was an officer over there that was my friend. I talked to her about stuff that was just like, she was really nice to me. And I blamed her. I was like, she told me to get candy for her. And that was the worst moment in my life. Like, I think that was the worst thing I ever did to somebody. I like, you don't do that. Like, I can't imagine like, if you could imagine doing that, if you did that to the mafia, you'd be fucking killed.
Yeah.
You'd have a hit out on you.
Little Tony over there said he wanted a bunch of candy. That's what I was getting him for. It was fucking little Tony's idea.
Exactly. And then Tony gets picked up and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna murder that motherfucker.
It's just like one of those ones, like, then they go over to arrest little Tony and they're like, oh, it's not just candy that's on this guy's record. Look what else. He's got arson. He's got Grand Theft Auto. He's got abduction. We're taking him in. The candy's just the fucking tip of the iceberg. And then he's looking across the
like, he's
like, little cook, I'm going to get you when I get out of here. I'm going to fucking get you.
I'll get you, stool pigeon stoolie.
And he's like fucking being, like, it's dragged out, like clawing back. Like, don't you go to fucking sleep.
It was so terrifying too. Like imagine doing that to somebody and then not knowing what's gonna happen next.
It's one of those things, like, a lot of people, it's like we all have done shitty, fucked up things as children. The fact that you're able to come on air and say it actually says a lot about your character and says about how you've overcome it, because a lot of there's certain things I did as a kid, like, fuck, I'm not saying that shit on this show. And at one episode I talked about an STD scare, so I'm not gonna
get the fuck out of here.
So it's
like, yeah, one time I was like fondling like this dog at fucking like the store. I didn't know what I was doing. It just
I was 3. I was 4. I didn't fucking know. Yeah, No, now that
I just thought the dog was my best friend.
Old Yeller just had her butt in my face, man. I didn't know what to do. I thought it was for. I thought it was for free. So I just went in there, I touched, and then my hand turned red like a week later, and then I had herpes, and yeah, I still
saw it off, and because it was starting to come back to life.
It's like, you ever see Evil Dead? It was like that.
Have you guys ever had any weird experiences with animals? Aside from the STD scare, of course.
That wasn't animal-related.
Exactly.
now this story's got like mismatched with like a fucking dog. Like, how did he get AIDS? Well, there was this dog at a pet store once.
Actually, wait, let's clarify. It actually turns out it was bad timing. I actually, just to sum up the story, give you the abridged version. I got out of a relationship with this girl I was with for a while, and then right after, I was like, what the fuck is that? Turns out I got a bug bite on my dick. That's what it was. So it actually kind of was slightly animal related. Yeah.
That is
too much information.
That is a weird way to get out of a relationship.
No, that was later, though. That was after the relationship.
It was just like, this fucking insect got me.
I got bit. It was like a spider bite. Yeah, it was a fucking spider bite. I was like, what the fuck is that? Holy shit, was she cheating on me? No, never mind.
That must have been terrifying. I think but like I've had some pretty weird experiences with animals. Like, what was it? I studied Tai Chi, so like it's really weird to see that, like, when I do my meditation and all that weird shit. And I've been studying it for like 12, maybe 13 years now. So I've been doing it for a very long time. There was this one time, and it was severely uncomfortable. I went into a meditative pose, and I did some lucid dreaming. I woke up, and there were 2 cats fucking right next to me. And that's what woke me up. That's what got me out of the trance. And like if you can imagine, if you've ever heard cat sex, it's the worst fucking sound.
Now here's the thing.
It sounds like rape.
Mountain
It sounds like rape.
Yeah, as I say, I could top this off. Have you ever heard mountain lion?
Oh my! I'm assuming it's worse.
It sounds like a woman getting raped, like out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, but that's about right. Like cats. We heard it. Me and my friends one night we were chilling. It was me, my friend Ethan, and my friend Nick, and we were just hanging out. We went out to go get pizza. We were fucking like, Jesus Christ, that was really fun.
We get pizza.
Are you smoking the marijuanas?
We smoked the marijuana. This is Miami, motherfucker. But no,
we're doing cocaine. Goddamn, haven't you seen
like
fucking Scarface?
If I'm allowed to talk about it, yeah, we were smoking pot, and oh my grandma bear and I listen. No, but my grandparents, they're the fucking. I love them to death because it's nice because my grandparents are just like, hey, you want to sit down and like smoke with something? And I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Veer off just for a second. I just want to say this. My dad was one of those guys, just kind of like, just like, if you ever smoke fucking pot, I'll break your fucking legs, whatever. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
One day, I'm like 23. I'm just talking to him. We're having a beer, just bullshitting. He's like, "You ever smoke weed?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, I figured. It's one of those things. Like, are you serious? I was fucking God fearing.
Like starts rolling up his sleeves.
Exactly. Like
it was gonna come to this.
Let's do it. Well, it's like my dad. Like when his cigarettes, he would like when I was a kid, he would like grab me. He's like, "If you ever smoke a cigarette, I will fucking kill you. I am going to kill you." Like that was like his only like violent thing. Everything else, he was like the nicest guy in the world, but it's like the cigarette thing is like, I will kill.
He would like no, he would just drill it into me, just this fear, and then like when I finally said like. Yeah, I smoked pot one time. Like,
he's just not like
whatever.
You ever suck dick?
Oh yeah, well you don't want to get that. You don't want to have that talk with your dad. Like,
I got this list here that I just need to know. It says by the time you're 20, let me check this off.
It's gonna check it off. I know you're moving to San Francisco, so I want to know if that's the reason, or
I mean that West guy looks like a pretty like healthy specimen. So I just want to. I'm wondering, is that what you're going for?
He just pulls you over and he's just like. All right, Spencer, I'm going to have a talk with you. Now, are you going to San Francisco to suck the meat rods? Because if you are, I'm not going to hate you for it, but I wanted to know like your dad. Like... And then you're just like, all right, yeah, I'm going over there for that. He's like, I'm going to remember that. And then you invite him to the gay wedding like 15 years later, and he's just like,
you know what? And then it comes to like this like ending where he's like, you know what, son? I always was against being gay, but after seeing you and seeing how happy you were, I thought I'd try it myself. Here's Tom Tom from the war.
So your mama, your sweet old mama dearest decided to get
like,
and then she says like,
we thought that'd be the most logical way to do this.
What happened to Barbara? Back to the story. We were high-ish and we were getting out of my car because I was dropping my friend Nick off at his house. We were just sitting outside, we were talking, and out of nowhere, we started hearing this sound. And if I could mimic it, it was just... Just
well,
real...
was taking it.
Yeah, there's no mistaking what was about to happen. And I was just like, they ain't fighting, buddy. And my friend Ethan looks over at me, he's like, are we about to... And my friend Nick just like interrupts both of us. He's like... Ah, this is what our night has become. And then all we hear is it is just real like screaming like for like a whole minute just scream like that cat had fucking lungs. And it was so terrifying, and me and my friend just sat there like, do we help them? And he was like, if you pull it out, it's gonna hurt much more. We have to sit through this. And I was like, okay. We just sat there and listened
let
to
nature run its course.
And and just let nature run its course. And at the end of it, all you hear is and like, I'm pretty sure that was the woman cat attacking the male cat. Like, I'm going to murder you if you don't get away from me right now. And, like, they both ran past us. The other one curled up on the floor and started, like twitching. And I was like, oh,
feeling violated.
Yeah, like, that cat was violated. And I'm like, wow, nature's fucked up. I need a girlfriend.
I like that. I'll say this real quick. People often want to say like humans are so fucked up. If only we were more like animals. It's just like no, animals are pretty equally fucked up, just in a different way. Like I think even Joe Rogan had a fantastic bit about like humans. He says like, ask a vegan. Did you know humans are the only animals that drink the milks of others? Like, yeah, you know why? Because other animals haven't figured out how to fucking farm. Throw some milk in front of a dog, it'll love that shit.
He's like, where'd you fucking get this, man? And it's cold and it's summer. He must be a wizard.
Yeah. Exactly. That was exactly it. Like, you'll have, like, we have pets and we have animals and we have all these fucking things. And guess what? When you give them a little bit of what we have, like, farmed and brought together and cooked, holy shit, they don't want anything else.
Exactly.
Like fucking over at the Humane Society, I volunteered over at the Humane Society for like two years. And me and my friends made beef jerky once for this one dog. I fucking love that dog. He was just this big.
Hold on, when you start that up, like I volunteered at the Humane Society. Me and my friends made beef jerky. It sounds like wait, where was this beef jerky being made from?
It was well, we had this.
We took the cat. It was all shivering. Well, it's lost its purpose. So
exactly. Well,
circle of life.
If you guys could imagine a giant wolf, like a real wolf, like about the size of like. Some of that shit you'd fall over in World of Warcraft. Like, I played World of Warcraft for some time, and there was this wolf that you can, like, have as your companion, and I fucking love that thing. And there was this one Malamute, and I think he was a Malamute. That or just a really fat husky. And we would make beef jerky for him, and we would bring it to him almost every day, and I'd sneak it out of my pocket. I'd give it to him. And the only reason nobody got him is because, like, he was too fucking big. Like... Everybody down here in Miami wants like a Chihuahua or wants one of those pussy dogs. But when you get a real dog, like a good sized dog, dude, it's fucking awesome because it's like having a bear with you. People ain't gonna fuck with you.
Plus, like a Malamute or like a Husky in Miami, that's almost got to be like torture for that dog. Like they're not able to handle that kind of weather.
Weirdly enough, there's ways to take care of them that they're able to handle it. And certain breeds are actually bred down here in Florida. So... It's weird, but it's kind of possible, but they end up looking kind of crazy bald and stuff like that. Huh. But yeah, have you guys had any like weird animal stories that you guys like to talk about?
Living up out in Sonora and Tuolumne, I mean, you know, you just get a couple of like kind of what Spencer said, I think tops it off. Just like hearing mountain lions fuck in the middle of the night. Like what? Oh, it's just mountain lions fucking. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, the first time I remember, because like I had like this hot tub that was outside at my house, and it's sort of like a walk away, and it's in like the corner because I kind of live, there's no neighbors, it's just all woods and everything like that. So like, you know, as kids you'd be like out there like hanging on the hot tub all the time and whatnot, and then you're just kind of sitting there, and then you hear that, you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Oh god. And then you're like hiding in the hot tub, you're like, well, I don't want to leave because there's too much of a walk back, you know, you gotta walk 500 feet to get back to the house.
Exactly.
It's not worth it. I've seen a horror movie before. Someone's not gonna make it.
It's usually the nerd that dies last, or like the stoner that dies last, but I'm not taking those chances because I'm the only one here.
We'll go off 80s philosophies. Well, we don't have a black friend, but we have an Asian friend, so he might be the first to go.
Yeah, it's always going to be...
There's no girl, so...
And it's weirdly enough that, like, the best type of movies that I've seen end up following... Like, the best type of horror movies that I've seen end up following that philosophy because it's stereotypically really suspenseful. Because you know what's going to happen, you know who's going to go, and whenever they walk into that room, you start losing your shit. It's like... This person's gonna die. This person's gonna die. And they fucking died. See what I said? And it's like, it's kind of rewarding. It's also kind of sad. But for the most part, it's just, I was right. And that person's dead now.
I feel like that recently a lot of horror films are almost trying to, that's been pointed out so much recently. Like I think a movie that was the whole concept was
The Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, which was explaining this is how people do stupid shit. They're being drugged and all that, which I thought was really interesting. And I think the concept
like followed the idea of it was kind of it broke the fourth wall to such an insane degree where like these guys were just running the fucking show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to appease some crazy god, and I don't know what it is. Was M. Night Shyamalan the one who directed that movie?
No, it was
No.
that was written by Joss Whedon, but then
Yeah.
directed by, it wasn't M. Night Shyamalan, but it was one of Joss Whedon's guys. I'm trying to name a blank on the name and other movies he did, other movies he's done, but he's like one of those like genre guys that worked under Whedon for a while. So I think he did some episodes of like Buffy and Firefly, not Firefly, maybe Firefly, but you know, something like that.
But it's the fact that it was so, like, the reason why I cared about that movie a lot, and I'll never fucking forget it, is because it just had so much to it. Like, in the beginning, you're just like, oh, it's just another fucking stupid movie. And it progressively gets worse and worse because this is one of the instances where it wasn't just, we're going to kill them with zombies or we're going to kill them with, like, Razorhead or something like that. It's going to actually be like, these guys find out what the fuck's going on. And as you continue through it, it's more of like, what the fuck is happening, man? Come on, you got a unicorn. Unicorns are murderers now. And it continues getting like progressively crazier. And then at the end of it, you look at literally the entire movie as a whole, and you're like, it went from like, this had layers to it. Like, someone worked really hard on that movie, and I appreciate that person because you don't do that. Like, it was just a cabin in the woods, but I will always remember that fucking movie name because that was just fantastic. Like, that's all I have to say.
There's that part when they're actually doing the whole, like, as they go down, because every horror film has that moment where they or every, like, you know, slasher flick where they have the moment where they come across something that tells about, it's gonna foreshadow the monster or the villain or summons the monster. They do that, and they all have the list of different monsters. And they're having like a polling game of which ones it's gonna be.
Exactly.
Everybody's placing
and there's if you look at the whiteboard, some of it's stuff like, okay, they can't put Freddy, but they're kind of like Kevin, and then zombies, redneck zombies, and there's angry molesting tree. It's like, that's a fucking deep cut right there.
Like you see that they make all the movie, like, they made a lot of references, which is what I appreciated. Like, they made that reference to Razorhead with the Razorhead puzzle, and I was just like, wow, look how they, like, they didn't just rip it off, like, they didn't just cut and paste, but the way they made it look was like really cool and like more, you know, 2012 that the movie came out?
Something like that. It was a little before Avengers, because that's how they were kind of advertising it, like, for the director of the Avengers, even though he was written by it.
Yeah. So it was following between that little area where, you know, it was just different, but they also had the girl from The Ring. They had a bunch of different people, a bunch of different creatures from different movies that, like, you didn't expect to see. Like, you didn't know this movie was going to go in this direction. So that's why I actually asked if it was if M. Night Shyamalan had any production in this, because that motherfucker makes some twists. But this was like, it had such a big twist to it that I had to sit there and like contemplate on it. Like, wow, I gotta see that movie again so I can like process that.
Because that was an interesting movie, because when I first watched it, I didn't care for it a whole lot. I liked all like the stuff in the lab. I thought that was great. But for some reason, I was like, I don't like the genericness they make of these characters. But on second and third viewing of that movie, it's like, oh, no, I get it. I see what they're doing. So I really appreciated it.
Yeah, they're not just making fun.
Well, because I think sometimes there's those kind of things when you are a big fan of something, and then you go in and somebody's like slightly mocking it. You're like, who does this person think they fucking are? Making fun of the shit we like? What? Well, they got a fucking problem with it? Like, you almost feel like you got this like Teamsters union that's gonna come back you up.
We like our 90s horror films. Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. So
hey, you can't come in up in here and just copy paste Razorhead over here. No. I'm not having.
Yeah, it's like, well,
you can't be making fun of my Freddy's. Just rolling up his sleeves.
Like, and he's getting ready. Like, I feel like the way the movie was portrayed, like, when people told me to go watch the movie, they were just like, go watch it, and I was like, really? And I was like, is it worth it? And then he was like, you're gonna want to go see it a few times. And I ended up seeing that movie 2 different times that night, in the same night, because, like, you know how you go to the movies and you just don't want to see one, you see like 3. We used to call those matinees, where my grandfather used to say, he's like, go over there and watch a matinee, go see a few different movies. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But the second time I saw the movie, I saw more references than I saw the first time, which was like, if you saw there was a chainsaw hanging from the wall, and it was it looked like the exact chainsaw from Chainsaw Massacre. They had a machete right next to it, and then they had the claw hand. And I was just like, okay, well, they're making a lot of like real references to stuff I've seen. But then we jump over to the other side of it where like the unicorn ran through the room, and I was just like, oh, okay, they wanted this to be kind of like funny as well.
Yeah, put a little bit of goofy in there.
Exactly, like they added the fact that they were doing like gambling on people. Like this is a normal office thing apparently. Like we're just gonna send these teenagers in here, we're gonna kill them, it's gonna be fine. And it appeases the gods, so we're perfectly fine.
Plus a lot of the editing gags in the movie, because there's the part where the poor redhead crawls out of the water. She thinks she's the only one left. Yeah. She's just crying and bawling. And like one of the few monsters grabs her, slams her around. Doesn't just kill her, but he's like just slamming her around, knocking her around. It's violent. It's kind of hard to watch. Then what makes it funny of all things is they cut back to the office and they just see her on the monitor getting smacked around. They're all partying. They're playing like, I don't remember, it was some lame 80s pop song. She's like, yeah, whatever.
Motherfucker, she's getting the shit kicked out of her. Like, it is as if they're watching a movie, but then when they actually get into the office and everything, like the fourth wall breaks, the show is over. Like, what do you do when this controlled environment that you've built starts not becoming controlled anymore?
I kind of like that maybe Sigourney Weaver is what's her character's name from Halloween? I forgot. What's her name?
Oh, she's not in Halloween.
What? Isn't Sigourney Weaver in Halloween?
No, it's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Fuck. Jamie Lee Curtis. My mistake.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver's an alien and
Okay, I don't. Yeah. They
are considered same time period. You could almost swap them. You could put Jamie Lee Curtis in Alien and Sigourney Weaver in Halloween, and it probably would work. You know what I mean? And nobody would really notice the difference.
Yeah. Well, it would probably as actresses, they have a similar like acting aspect to them, where it's like they seem very vulnerable.
Yeah, like I feel like almost her character from Halloween could almost be her character. Like, I survived so many times. I kind of learned about this thing, and they made me its director because I know the best ways to get around it. So I mean, it's not official, but I almost feel like that's kind of how it could be almost. The way
like it's also the concept that you found the whore and you found the jock and you found the nerd and the fucking the stoner. You found all of these people that, at the end of the day, you're just like, wow, this is like. The stereotypes actually exist, but then they bring them together, and for some reason they end up going to these cabin in the woods. And it, like, the more I think about it, the more frustrated I get, because I think about like how did they just do this? Does his dad actually own that cabin in the wood? Like, who actually owns that? Like where do you get the rights to that? And then find out that literally that cabin has death, nothing but death around it.
I think it's more one of those things because, like, they found somewhat of, like, all right, these are kind of archetypes that kind of fit the prophecy, and they drug them and make them more like the stereotype we see from horror films. And I think it's one of those things. My friend's dad, I haven't seen the movie, like, in 2 or 3 years, but I think it's like,
because they cast the house.
Yeah, my friend's dad's cousin gave me a call or whatever, and something like that. And, like, yeah. If we pull the string on anything too long, it starts to fall apart. But overall, it's a pretty fun movie still.
No, exactly. That's why. If you don't think about it too much, that's the same thing. If you jump into certain aspects, like with just Friday the 13th, if you jump into it, realistically speaking, if that kid died when Jason died at summer camp, that entire camp should have been shut down, and those kids should have been sent to jail for negligence.
Not when money's involved.
Not when money's involved. You're right.
Like, fuck that little Jason kid. He ain't ruining my fucking pool party.
Nobody liked him anyway.
Yeah,
nobody liked that little retard kid anyway. And then you just see it's sad because, like, when I saw the movie for the first time, I was like, wow, they're taking a real dark turn with killing the kid in the end of the movie. And then, like, as it progresses, you're just like, well, I think he's entitled to kill whoever he needs to kill because those guys forgot about him.
Did they show Jason dying as a kid in the first one?
I think his mom has a flashback. It's like, "Mommy, help!" Just in the distance. Like,
okay, yeah. I couldn't remember if that stuff kind of came up because I know a lot of Jason's origin stuff mostly happens in like the sequels. It's more just like they sort of talk of it.
That's kind of what people wanted to see. Like, initially, the first time I saw Oh, there is a dog. Oh, there was a pug outside running at cars. I'm fucking. Oh
Is
my
he
god.
okay? The pug will make it?
Yeah, he just ran right next to one of the cars. Like he drove. There was this Prius coming up, and he ran right in front of the Prius, and then he jumped out of the way as if like a Batman skill.
A Prius.
You like rolled through a couple batarangs at that Prius. The Prius spun out and blew up.
No, like the dog went like, here's the car and here's the pug. Pug jumps in front of the car and then backs up immediately. Like he knew he was gonna get hit, but he
I
didn't.
feel like you could probably like stand down a Prius. Like a Prius is kind of a bitch car. Like I feel like if a Prius coming at you, you're like, I dare you to fucking hit me, and it'll probably stop.
But like that's the thing.
Like with any other car, maybe
that would have really added some. That really would have added some listening value to this podcast even more.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god, dude! Whoa, we were just talking about horror films.
That dog is dead. I'm gonna be right back.
Oh no, he's coming back to life. Oh god, he's grabbing a machete now.
Oh my god! And the guy got out of the car and he killed the dog. Oh, he put it out of his misery. Well, shit. And then I'm just narrating.
The dog's coming back to life now, and now he's dragging the guy
exactly.
off. The dog just got in the Prius and drove off. What the fuck?
Man, well, this
is
a dark turn. Well, back to horror movies, huh?
But I was gonna say, like Friday the 13th, though. Something regarding that. Shit, where was I going with Friday the 13th? I always kind of view Jason as he's just a guy who just wants to be left alone, and some fucking teenagers always come by and just make a lot of noise. He's like, I just want to chill. Why the fuck you gotta be coming up here? Like they bring him up.
He's out there like feeding the fucking birds at the pond, like just nice montage of him.
If you could imagine, it's like a nice. It would be really funny if they opened up one of the Friday the 13th movies and he's sitting over there, he's just carving a turkey with his machete, and he's just like. You remember in Shrek, like the beginning of the movie where he's just like getting everything clean and he pulls that earwax out of his ear and he just sets up a candle, like, and he sits down and then all you hear is, "Oh my god, Tommy, let's go skinny dipping!"
And just like this boombox fucking comes out just blasting.
What are you doing in my swamp? And then he just runs over, starts chopping the shit out of him, and then like it feels kind of justifiable. The guy was chilling. And you motherfuckers come in and start playing your games and shit. Stop trying to skinny dip in my pond. I live here, motherfucker.
I also feel like
I was cleaning that all week long, and you come and ruin it.
People just keep on jizzing in my pond. It's my pond.
Exactly,
like got one of those like pool sweeper things, like a lake.
Jizzing in it and fucking in it. What's wrong with you guys? Get your shit together. Next thing you know, they actually live next to like a distribution factory of shitty teenagers.
Did you ever see there's a fantastic Robot Chicken sketch where it shows Jason when it's not Friday the 13th. Yeah. And you see him, he's just like putting puzzles together. He's in a nice robe and he's just all like, they're playing this very soft music. He's like, exactly. Just gardening. And then he looks at his calendar, realizes Friday the 13th is coming up. He's like, oh, he's like clapping his hands, like all excited.
So much fun.
Then when it lands on Friday the 13th, like angry death metal of him just killing and murdering. And then it just like in this song's like kill, murder, fuck. You know, then all of a sudden it just cuts the next day. He's just like walking into his house, all covered in blood, just like puts his machete in the umbrella holder, and then like looks back at the calendar, basically. Realizing the next Friday the 13th is like 4 months away. He's like,
I can't wait for that. It's like his purge, basically.
Exactly.
But you know, I always had like a deep appreciation for Robot Chicken. Fucking, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys have had that. Well, how old are you guys right now?
I'm 28, and Dunigan just turned 30.
Okay, so Spencer, you're 38, and
no, I'm 28.
Ryan, you're 30.
28. No, he's 28. I'm 30.
I'm the old 38. One. That really.
Oh, you're 28. You're 38. I gotcha.
But together.
But together we're 58.
Ha! That's why it's the Old Man Orange podcast.
And then you just cut to a scene where he's just sitting over there and he's just like, I don't know what I've done with my life.
I am already kind of starting to feel it because now it's like a few months back I twisted my ankle. Now when it's cold, my ankle hurts. That's very much an old thing. Another thing that happens, I always used to wear jeans, but like recently I'm like, you know what? Dress pants are way more comfortable. Before I'd only wear dress pants to like weddings or a funeral, but they're so much more comfortable. And I'm just done. Fuck jeans. I'm just sticking to these old pants.
I have a couple pairs of jeans, but if I get jeans, I like make sure I buy the nice, soft, stretchy kind that like fucking aren't uncomfortable.
You know what's weird? Like my dad for Christmas bought me some polo jeans, real like good quality. And it's weird enough that I really like them, but the thing is my wardrobe literally consists of nothing but relaxed clothing. Like with this, it's just like a t-shirt. I have a bunch of like leather jackets and stuff. But the pants that I wear exclusively for most of the time is like joggers.
I love gym clothes. Like I know for a fact that like a lot of times you do look like you're like slightly lazy wearing them, but the older I get, it's like fuck it.
Yeah, well, it's weird enough that like whenever I go out, I have been able to make joggers part of my wardrobe to make me look good. Like I have some nice shoes to match the joggers. I have like a real nice shirt to look at, and then I have like my leather jackets, and like they look good too. So it's an entire incorporation of a bunch of different ensembles that fit together within like a relaxed look.
It creates the illusion so nobody's just like, are you fucking just like out here wearing your gym clothes?
You know
he
what's
just got
weird?
back from the gym. That's they could be questioning
It's like
that.
I feel like famous people end up doing that at some point for some reason because like I have been stopped more often than not because I walk out with a leather jacket, diesel shoes, and like $5 sweatpants. And people like I've been stopped every time I walk into my friend's building and like one of these guys that rolls up in a fucking Ferrari, like a real Ferrari, and I roll up in a Honda fucking Civic, 2001. I get out and the guy looks at me, he's like, "What's up, man?" And I'm like, "Hey, dude, how you doing?" And he's like, "I'm doing good. What do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is happening." And I just start talking to him about like my voice acting, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta keep doing what you're doing, man. You look good." I'm like, "Thanks, man." And like then that jumps into my personality, and it's a bunch of shit. And it's nice to see that it's not only how like I've learned how to dress, which is way more relaxed and not like I really could give a shit because for the most part, my my wardrobe consists of nothing but relaxed clothing, and I'm all right with that because even when I go to like weddings and like special events and stuff like that, I like to relax. I don't like to stress myself because the more you just stress yourself on clothing, I that's the last thing I focus on. I like personality. Personality goes a long way.
I draw the line at, I mean, usually I'll try to go out, more like, yeah, I said like jeans or recently,
Well, yeah,
dress pants, dress slacks recently. But I draw the line at PJ bottoms.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I draw the line
at
PJ.
That just instantly
I don't
makes you look
fuck
like
with...
you're trailer trash. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to fall, like, at least with my joggers, they have like a closed bottom to them. They're fairly relaxed. It looks like it's controlled.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to like when I wear like a martial arts gi. When you look relaxed, but you obviously look professional in your sense.
Yeah.
Like I look relaxed, but when I go out, I present myself.
I look like fucking Ryu, so it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
He could just be wandering the world for street fighting for all we know.
Exactly. Like for all anybody knows, I can defend myself in any sense. But the real concept is that you want to be comfortable. I'm sick of having to be here in Miami. I'm gonna be real with you. I live here and I haven't worn shorts like once in my life down here.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird enough because like I go to the beach and stuff like that, and if I go there, I just roll up my joggers. And I'll just dip my feet in the water or I'll just jump in. Because realistically speaking, like I'm not a shorts guy, even though I have tattoos on my legs and stuff like that, and I like to show them off, but weirdly enough, like living here in Miami, the more I go out, the fucking more sunburn I get because I'm white.
Oh yeah, I'm Irish. I'm like 50%. Like my dad's 100%, so I'm 50%. So it's like I walk out like
I'm like all Northern European.
Yeah. It's just like instant like burn, like a vampire for me.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's weird that I can walk out nowadays and people will be like, oh, "Okay, well he's just doing his own thing," but back when I was younger, when I was going through that My Chemical Romance scene phase, I was wearing like real skinny jeans and like tight shirts, and I'm like, now I look back, I'm like, yeah, I gained a little bit of weight. I still have my muscle and everything, but I got a fat pack, and it's not fun.
There is, well, I'll be honest with you, because when all the My Chemical Romance stuff was going on, I was still young, but I was a little obviously I was kind of older. So,
Exactly.
but so it was kind of like that point, like,
well, we were in high school at that time.
We were in high school, but it was still one of those things of just kind of like, oh, the emo kids. Now looking back, there actually was some good emo bands. If it was related to emo, you just like,
yeah, like nowadays I'll sit down and I'll listen to music and I'll listen to like I'll actually listen to someone like My Chemical Romance and I'll end up listening to some Mayday Parade and shit like that. And some of the stuff I'll be like, wow, I can see why I like that. But God forbid it comes up on my shuffle on my Spotify, I will start screaming because I'm like, I don't have the time to delete it, but there's certain gems here and there that I am happy that I saved. But then there's the other ones, and I'm just like, you know what? I really don't need to be reminded of this.
Well, what I was gonna say was originally is because like you were talking about like, oh, My Chemical Romance used whatever, ew. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking back at like the shit I was into in like when I was like 14 or 15, and I'm just kind of like, shit, maybe emo was a little cooler because I remember like I had, even though it's kind of like verging on that same thing, I remember like I had a Linkin Park poster.
Yeah.
There was an Evangelion wall scroll. I mean, I still like Evangelion, but it's one of those things like not as much as other things. So I just got a dirty ass look like, what you fucking say about Evangelion?
No. Well, it's also the fact that like I also listened to, but that was before my scene phase. I was a fucking skater and I was listening to like Linkin Park, and then I moved over to like I was listening to Blink 182, and then it went over to Three Doors Down and then 3 Days Grace because I couldn't tell them two apart because they each had three in front of them, and that frustrated me. That frustrated me to no fucking.
3 Days Grace is like one of those bands. That song, it just screams out just like they're a bunch of like 30-year-old guys like screaming like teenage shit. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy. I mean, look, they found a market. They found a way to make money, and I respect that. But it's one of those things like, I hate everything about you. Just like, and every song is all about like, don't get me wrong. I got like, shit. I'll be fully honest. I got their first album when I was a kid because I kind of like the riff, and then like listening to more of it, like, this is emo as fuck, you know?
Yeah, this is really screechy. Like the more you listen to those bands and you really get into it, certain ones have certain gems that like really resonate with you and your like musical tastes. With me, nowadays I've fallen into real like 60s through, well, let's do like the 60s through 80s rock. Strictly because of the fact like Man for Man's Earth Band, and then we fall over to like there's a bunch of different like bands that off the top of my head I have like a clusterfuck of them, but I've been listening to a lot of Queen and I've been listening to a lot of Pink Floyd, and I didn't do that before, which I sincerely regret because I've listened to The Wall almost 5 times now and it's awesome.
This is funny you say this because when we were in high school, it was like the second that like emo came out, it was one of those ones like you wouldn't want to be fucking caught dead with like something emo. It was like you were like no, because like it was just like I don't know what it was, but metal and rock just did not mesh with that. So it was like no, push that away. We can't be seen with that. And then like Avenged Sevenfold's like, well, Avenged Sevenfold's kind of cool, but you got to be careful who you tell that to right off the bat. Like
exactly. Well, like Avenged Sevenfold, and then like. I was more of a Metallica fan, and when people told me about Avenged Sevenfold, I was like, all right, well, let's give them a shot. And I listened to them, and then I heard Nightmare. It's your fucking nightmare! And I was like, oh, that's hardcore. And then I listened to a few other songs, and they had some soft tracks with them, and I was like, all right, you know, you could fit your ballads in there, but let's keep it at that heavy metal that I came here for, please.
See, because Avenged Sevenfold was one of those bands like that. Like I heard when they had Unholy Confessions come out, and I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. This is a badass song. And that's actually one of my favorite bands. And that I feel like that was my safe gateway to kind of like try out other stuff. Because the funny thing is, after like high school and everything like that, you go back and listen to My Chemical Romance. I was like, dude, this is a fucking amazing band. What the fuck were we thinking? Like shunning these guys. You know what I mean? Like they had a fucking GameCube and they're like RV. Like why would we not doubt them?
My entryway mainly into My Chemical Romance was Umbrella Academy, which is a comic by Gerard Way, and I just like, well, this is, you know, this is a pretty good comic, even though the guy's pretty emo and it kind of comes through the book, but it's a good comic. And then I kind of you gave me like a couple of the albums, Spencer. I'm like, It's okay. I'm like, ah, fuck it, it's good. Who am I kidding?
It's not bad. I think I could.
Yeah, I
think I could
found him
follow.
at like the gym, and it was just like, well, they're free. Let's listen to this.
Well, regarding Avenged Sevenfold, just for a second, I just want to clear this up. I don't really listen to them as much as I used to, but I'll say they always kind of remind me more of like, even though you said Metallica, and I kind of see that, Avenged Sevenfold always kind of me more of like kind of like a Motley Crue or kind of like 80s hair metal band more than like Metallica or something like that.
Well, that's what they remind me of, and I think that was my gateway into them because that was the safe way. I was like, oh, they're like Motley Crue, but modern. Okay, that's safe for me.
Weirdly enough, I actually don't have a timeline for all the music that I've listened to, because I've went everywhere from, like, I've went from My Chemical Romance to Metallica to a bunch of different places where I don't even fucking know. Like, I was listening to Eminem for some time, and then I jumped over to, like, fuck, man. I wish I had like a whole list of music that I listened to that I could like list off of the top of my head. Wendy's later. My little brother wants me to take him to fucking Wendy's. Come the fuck away. You know what?
Get a job, boy.
Wendy's is a much better choice though than many other things you could choose. I'll say that right off the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, I'm a fan of Wendy's. I'm a fan of Taco Bell. I'm a fan of a lot of. I'm a curator of the finer, not fine foods. And I believe wholeheartedly in my mind that in moderation it's actually super good, and I love it to death because, like, I can go out with a friend if we're high as fuck, and like I'll treat for some Wendy's or I'll treat for some McDonald's, and you get the satisfaction of treating for your friends and not draining your fucking wallet.
I guess I could imagine like almost like just an ad, like, what do you like Wendy's? And, just kind of people like, I love the Frosties. Like, I love the Crisp Cut fries. And then they get to you and you're just like, it's like, I'm just high as fuck, bro. Just high as fuck.
I'm going to do a little list, like, just for my recent library of music. I'm going to give you guys the first 15, or it's not a very long list, but this is what my Spotify says that I've been listening to for the past week. Mask is an album by the Manfred Mann's Earth Band. The original soundtrack for Trolls. The Very Best of Freddie Mercury.
Wait, Trolls the movie. The movie just came out?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah. The Very Best of Freddie Mercury, The Wall by Pink Floyd, Bad Choices Made Easy by the Left Rights.
I feel like an old man. Like, I don't know what 3 of these bands are.
Actually, the Left Rights was actually, you remember Mindless Self-Indulgence?
Yeah.
I know of them, yeah.
Yeah. Their lead singer did crack and made a whole album with the drummer of their band. I believe that's how it was. And he said, and I shit you not, if you listen to the entire album, it starts off with some real hectic Spanish, and then it moves on to boom, 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 boom. And then it's like, everybody left to right, big head down, back in 79. And it progressively gets more and more insane as the album goes by. But it was pretty crazy. So after the Left Rights was Mindless Self-Indulgence, which I remembered the Left Rights because of them. The original soundtrack for Little Shop of Horrors.
That's a good soundtrack right there.
That is a very good soundtrack. Like, I'm just a mean green mother from outer space and I'm bad.
Because I'm one of those people, like, I'm not the biggest musical fan, but there's a handful of albums that I'm like, okay, those are fun ones. It's all the older ones. I feel like older musicals weren't nearly as pretentious as sometimes modern stuff is.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. After that was the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's a good one, too.
I wanted to hear that. I wanted to hear the entire soundtrack because all I heard was Sweet Transvestite, and I was like, it's fucked up, but I want to hear the rest of it. Like, it's like Tim Curry's got a voice that I wanted to listen to a little bit. And one of the other songs Tim Curry did that I actually really like is Toxic Love from Fern Gully and the Last Rainforest.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
Ooh, that song just, like, if you can envision pollution in a song, that was what it was.
Oh yeah.
It's like acid rain, toxic muck. And it's just so, if you see the video and you really feel it, and it's like,
I saw that movie in theaters.
It's evil and sinister. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Really?
Shit, what was that like?
What was that like, good sir?
Were you sad when Kurt Cobain died?
Yeah. Well, you know what the weird thing is? It's like, just being like almost basically 10 years younger than you guys, like just one decade. Yep. A decade is 10 years, yes?
Yeah.
Just one decade. You can see how everything actually changed and how we as people are, different. But at the end of the day, like, we can agree on certain subjects because the way I want to give myself off is someone who, enjoys a lot of the older things because that's kind of the environment that I was raised around. That was pretty much it. I had Shmo Yoho, the Hercules album, A Quest for Camelot, and then a lot of epic rap battles of history. So it was a lot of it was a lot of stuff. Like, most of the music that I ended up listening to when I was younger was a lot of older music. And I feel like that's actually because I wanted to know what it was like before I was born, like what was going on, who was popular at the time. Like, when I asked my grandfather, I was like, what did you do when you were young? And he was like, I did coke with Clint Eastwood. And I was like, that's badass. And guess what? That motherfucker's crazy. Like, what was it? At my mother, bless her soul, my mom's funeral, we got a call from Clint Eastwood, who was a friend of my mom.
Oh, that's awesome.
When I made that post on Facebook, I found out he was following me. Really? That motherfucker was following me on Facebook, and I got a message either from his marketing team or him, and they said, our deepest condolences for you and your family and stuff like that. I didn't even know they knew. Yeah, it was really weird. And you know what? It's odd from my perspective because of the fact that, like, my family has like secret connections. We are not famous, we are not well known. But just when we've gone to places like if you've ever heard of like Rick Case Honda down here in Florida, there's this my grandfather, whenever we go out to like a restaurant or something, he sees these famous car dealerships, these famous car dealer owners and stuff like that. He says, "Hey, John, how you doing?" And he's like, "Hire me, you motherfucker. Come over here." And it's like, my grandfather's been down here almost 55 years now with my grandmother, and they have met and socialized with so many people that there's a reason why my grandfather kind of supports me and my whole voice acting thing, because believe it or not, from my perspective, I was actually pretty popular in the yo-yo community. If I don't know if Spencer actually told you, Ryan, but I did a lot of yo-yo stuff prior
Spencer had his yo-yo phase. I remember that, walking down college.
I still got a yo-yo. It's sitting right next to me on my desk. When I get
bored,
remember
him walking down college campus, just like, I'm bringing this shit back. Just walking down like they'll know me.
What yo-yo are you using?
Let's see what yo-yo I got sitting right here.
Yeah, let me see it. That's fucking cool.
I got a Mosquito by Duncan.
Oh shit. Yeah, give me a second. I'll just wait right over there. I'm gonna get mine if we're on this. This is the.
I fucking love right yo-yos.
There. I remember that shit when you were just walking on campus,
spinning I like spinning around like I'm a fucking martial artist, and then have it come back. Everybody's like fucking. They all get out of your way.
All right.
Like you're trying to be like that weird like character from Tekken or Street Fighter that used a yo-yo or Project Justice.
I have two yo-yos. It's kind of sucks that we're on a podcast and not a live stream. But
Google image notes.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys don't know, this is a metal yo-yo. That's a metal yo-yo.
Oh yeah.
And this one's called a top deck. This is exactly. And then we have the metal yo-yos, and then everybody.
Oh, I get wooden yo-yo too.
We have the wooden yo-yo. And this is actually my grandfather gave me this one. I got into yo-yoing about 7 years ago, actually. And within that little community, I met lots of people, and I made lots of friends. And what was it? It kind of helped me get into the networking circuit, which was talking to people and marketing myself in a comfortable manner where I make friends and I make business partners at both the same time. If I can fit this little in, this isn't a plug or anything, but this is actually this is a technique I would suggest to people who want to get into any type of industry, whether it be voice acting, yo-yoing, just anything, even art. Making friends and meeting people is one of the best skills you can have, because regardless of if you have real, raw, genuine talent, people enjoy a good conversation. People enjoy being told that, like, hey John, how you doing? And you just remembering their names. People will always appreciate these little things that you do, regardless of if it's an actual talent or not. So I try to push to people that if you want to get your foot in anywhere, whether you want to do it for money or you want to do it for yourself, talk to people. Just talk to people. Talk to everybody you meet. Try to make friends and only have the best intentions for others. Don't give them everything you have, and don't give them don't give all your ideas away, but, talk about something that's a little irrelevant to what your actual talent is. Because once you start doing that, talk about pop culture, talk about music, talk about something that is broad enough that you enjoy, that others will enjoy.
To add to that, actually, another thing fits that thing you're talking about. A friend of mine, she was going to Academy of Art University here in San Francisco. And she said that, there's a lot of, like, she was taking a lesson from, there's a guy giving a lecture. I don't remember which guy it was, but he was a incredibly talented, like very well known. He's like one of the guys that designed the Beast and Beauty and the Beast. Wow. So, a Disney like heavy hitter.
I see.
And he said, you can be the most talented person in the room. You can be the most flashiest, best artist in the room. But if you're an asshole, no one's gonna want to work with you. If they say you really gotta,
yes,
like they'll probably take the decent artist who's really nice over the perfect artist who's an asshole. So, and that's something. Yeah, and that's the reason that kind of made me think a little bit ago, because like, what was it exactly? I think about certain actors from like, I mean, you probably pick any decade, but I was thinking about particular actors from the 90s, like, what's his name? Val Kilmer, for instance. He wasn't a horrible actor. Well, he did some pretty good stuff, but there was a period though where if you look at interviews and you hear stories, he was getting really full of himself. He's like, look, let me tell you how it's going to be. I'm Val Kilmer. I'm fucking Batman now. So this is how this shit's going to roll. And then after a while, he started having trouble getting roles because he was just started acting like an asshole.
Well, there was I actually wanted to talk about this. I have had one bad experience with not like negative in the sense that I was being negative to the other person, but the sense that it was just a very uncomfortable situation for me. When I was over at Animate Florida recently, I met all the voice actors. I went to each one of their booths. I shook their hands. I made friends with them, except one. I'm not going to say her name, but it's a she, and she did very famous voices, like voices of characters, because I don't want to say it. I really don't want to say her name because I don't want to put her out there like that, but the way she represented herself to me came off as cunty. Because what ended up happening was all the other voice actors that I met, I shook their hands, I made jokes with them, I made friends with them, and I had an overall fantastic time. Everybody was super supportive of me and supportive of what I was doing and saw potential in me and said, you need to keep doing this. The first thing I got out of her fucking mouth was, can I see your phone? And I was like, oh, maybe she wants to put her phone number in my phone. She went on every single social media I had and followed herself on them.
Oh.
Yeah, and when I tried talking to her while she was doing that, she said, whoa, give me a second, I have to do this. And she said, I followed you on every one of my social media, on every one of the social medias. And I was like, why? And she's like, oh, it's just something my marketing team told me to do. And I was like,
yeah, maybe I don't want to follow you.
No, don't do that. Like, I'll follow you if you're a nice person. Don't do that. And like, yeah, and I unfollowed
her. I already clipped it. He can't go back.
Well, it's funny. I blocked her and as immediately as I left her little area, because that, in my opinion, when you push that on people before you even get the chance to meet them, can be such a negative experience to certain people, and you don't want that. You don't want that negative experience to be. You don't want your first experience with one of your fans, someone who, watched your character do all these famous voices in the past and had genuine like respect. And then you throw that back in their face, like it's just like, okay, well, you know, like I respected her for all of her voices. I didn't know at first that it was her, but when she told me who she was, because I didn't know, I got just shit.
I just gotta ask, and you don't have to say her name. And we'll keep it vague here. I'm gonna hold up a figurine of someone I think she may have voiced. Tell me, I'm hoping I'm wrong. But
no,
you tell me.
Yes, it's
really.
It was Tara Strong.
Yeah.
That is horrible, because that's a bummer. Because I always look at her as one of the better voice actresses.
You know what?
And to see that,
I hate to say that. I really do,
oh,
because
man,
I enjoyed her Timmy Turner voice. I think she did Bubbles as well. And like,
yeah, she did Bubbles, she did Batgirl, she did Harley Quinn, she did Rico from Final Fantasy.
I was narrowing it down. I was like, maybe it's somebody. Maybe it's like one of the mini girls played Starfire.
No. And you know what's really sad about it? It was the fact that you fucking called it. It was the fact that even when I went over to like David Sobolov and I said, dude, why does she act like that? I'm like, is she really enveloped in her fame? And he said, yeah, certain people get indulged in all this, in all their revenue and all this money that they might have a little bit of a rough time and still need to market themselves and have to go as far as, here you go. And like, I'm going to be real. I'm very happy that you did that, Ryan, because like, I see a lot of figurines back there, and I'm very surprised out of all of them, you knew one of the voice actors, and you told me and you showed me who it was, and I was like, wow.
I grew up on animated series Batman, and I just feel like my heart just got stumped hearing that. But it's good to know.
I watched the entire animated series of Batman. I watched the entire one, and Barbara Gordon's voice actor was fan-fucking-tastic. Tara Strong is undoubtedly a fantastic voice actor, and I will not turn that against her.
Oh, yeah.
But I promise you, every single person I have ever considered working with or wanted to work with that I admire are good people.
Yeah, well, it's what
you lose my admirability. You lose my admirability and my respect for you once you start doing that dumb shit.
Well, it's kind of like Bruce Willis he's always kind of been notorious to some people being just the most horrible person ever. Now, at the end of the day, I love a Bruce Willis film. I will go see. That's not going to stop me from seeing a movie, but in the back of my mind, you kind of go, boy, I wonder who he hassled on this film said.
Yeah, exactly.
Those things, I feel like maybe it probably didn't start that way because I've heard stories about both. Well, like whenever I hear like Tara Strong on Fat Man on Batman or another interview, she sounds like the nicest person in the world. Bruce Willis, I've heard stories about how cool he is in real life and all that, but it's more recently, as of the last 10 years.
And boom, I think that's a perfect place to leave off at. This podcast went on for a bit. We're splitting it in two, making it nice and easy. Well, learn some things about an actress that you kind of idolize, and then you kind of hear those things. But does that ever really affect her performance? Nah, that doesn't change that. Maybe as a person, they're not the best person, but ain't gonna change Batgirl or fucking Bubbles, Riku, any of those characters. They'll all still be good to us. Well, till next time, check out oldmanorange.com for more cartoons, podcasts, music, and more. Till then, see you some other time. Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.